Thomas the Tank Engine was feeling very happy. His blue coat shone in the sun, he was right on time, and all around his branch line the countryside seemed prettier than ever before. Beep, beep! Good morning, Percy, he whistled. My branch line is the pride of the line, wouldn't you agree? Yes, Thomas, of course, but... But what, Percy? Out with it. Well, there is another engine with a famous branch line too. Who? Where? Exclaimed Thomas anxiously. His name's Stepney. He's far away, but the Fat Controller says he may visit us. When? Oh, someday. And Percy hurried away. So I tried very hard, but I couldn't work properly, and they put me on a siding. I stayed there for days and days. Other engines were there too. I was afraid. I'd have been frightened too, said Edward. But then some workmen came. They mended me and even gave me a coat of paint. I couldn't understand it till my driver came. He was very pleased. Stepney, you lucky old engine, he said. You've been saved. The Bluebell Railway has bought you. What a lovely surprise, smiled Edward. Have they saved other engines besides you? He asked. Oh, yes. He paused. I oughtn't to say this, he went on, after everyone's been so kind, but our line is very short and I never get any good runs now. I miss them dreadfully. Never mind, smiled Edward. Perhaps you'll get some while you're here. I hope you'll meet Thomas too, said Edward. You both have branch lines to be proud of. Then Stepney set off to help duck shunt coaches in the yards, and they worked happily together all afternoon. At last, Thomas arrived. Sorry, can't talk. It's time for my last branch line train. Mustn't be late. He was hardly out of sight when the engines heard shouting at the station. Moments later came the alarm. Stop all trains! The signalman answered the telephone. A special, is it? I see. Thomas was impatient. Why are we waiting? My passengers are being delayed. Sorry, Thomas, said his driver. We're being shunted to allow another train to pass. Soon, they heard an unfamiliar puffing sound. There was Stepney with headlamps swaying and whistle blowing. He gathered speed and disappeared. Well, bust my boiler, said Thomas the Tank Engine. Next morning, Thomas was still fuming. Shunted, and on my own branch too. It's a disgrace. I'm sorry, said Stepney. I was a special. Why? An important passenger arrived just as you left. He ordered a special train and Duck let me take it. We had a splendid run, but, finished Thomas kindly, it can make an engine nervous not to know the line. Exactly, said Stepney. You're such an expert. This made Thomas feel much better. He couldn't be cross anymore and instead began telling Stepney all about his branch line.